Well, good morning. It's Monday morning, the 27th of July, and I'm in Revelstoke, and I'm with Donna and Ken. Donna went off for work. We had a great evening last night, and we also had a great sleep. They were very kind to have me over and made me breakfast this morning, which is great. And this is Ken. He's in the driver's seat right now. I'm going to have him test out my car. And Maddie, come over here, Maddie. This is Maddie, and I've known Maddie for at least 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
Or 8 years anyway.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, she's grown up now. She's 25 years old now. Just knew her as a teenager. Okay, so we're going to go for a little drive. And yeah, your dad's going to drive my car.
Woo!
Okay,
Lucky.
Ken. Okay, Ken. I'm going to
go.
actually, yeah, there we go.
Oh,
Okay, so I
wow.
showed him how to use the gear shift, so let's see if he remembers.
I do. But did it shut off already? Oh, short-term memory. So what does that mean?
That's okay. The short-term memory that Ken's referring to is it starts your trip odometer. So right now the short-term memory should show.
Oh, neutral.
Yeah, the shifter's weird. Look at this.
Okay, so reset. Anyway, it should go automatically. But anyway, it's just if you scroll through here, it'll
Okay.
go through long-term memory.
Oh, it's
and
here.
all the different driver assist stuff.
Okay.
You know, that's like the range, time. There's all sorts of stuff, and also you've got different. That's your
tunes.
radio information. That's your call list. You can dial from your phone without touching anything other than your steering wheel. And then this is you can do your GPS, and you can actually change the view on it like that as well. And if you go on the screen by using this little button here, okay, you can actually scroll up and down to make it bigger or smaller. How cool is that?
That's North America. Should do it all.
Well, I can do the whole world.
The world.
Yeah, take a look.
Holy.
Jeez, most cars. Well, mind you, yeah.
That's North America right there. Tells you where you are. It's pretty cool.
Accurate to within inches.
Well, yeah, or a foot anyway. Yeah, and then I just put it. The view that I like the best is I like the big dials, and I like it with all the tech information on it. And here, my short-term memory, and I usually use the long-term memory. And usually, what I do is you can see on the bottom there it says 219 kilometers.
Yeah.
That's my short trip odometer. So last time I usually change it when I charge. So I charged 219 kilometers ago, and on the top left there in the red, it says 160 kilometers.
Left.
So that's how much more I have in my battery. If you add the two together, that's your effective range. So 219 and 160 is
70 something. Yeah.
379. So
That's
that's my
really good.
379 kilometers. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and it's only rated for 325. But those tires that you saw, they're really good for rolling resistance. So I get better range than the EPA rating. It really helps.
Well, I think you should just with regenerative braking.
Well, that too. I mean,
Yeah.
whenever, and you can when I use adaptive cruise control, which allows for keeping a set distance behind the car in front, and it's actually very efficient. Ready to go? Okay, let's do it.
I know, it's bizarre. Isn't it weird? Don't always.
Well, it actually does make a humming noise,
A little bit.
which you can hear from the outside, which to warn pedestrians.
Oh, heads-up display.
Oh
Very
yeah,
nice, very
yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Here's the heads-up display.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it
You
there
can,
on the dashboard there. The heads-up display allows you to keep your eyes on the road,
Yeah.
and it gives you all the information, including your turn-by-turn if you have your navigation on.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going through a residential area of Revelstoke. Ken, tell us a little bit about Revelstoke.
Largest vertical. It's about the ski industry here. North America's largest heli ski operators. We have multiple tour operators here. Revelstoke's at the base of Mount Mackenzie. North America's largest vertical with an average of 40 feet of powder every season.
What'd you say? 40 feet?
40 feet. Yeah.
Is that why you get so many visitors?
Well, summertime now too. What's happening is 4-season rock climbing, boating, hiking, all the mountaineering stuff has exploded in Revelstoke, as well as our real estate values.
What is like the home, your type of home? How much a home like that would cost now if you want to buy one today?
1.2 to say 1.5.
Okay, and that's Canadian dollars.
Canadian dollars, yeah. That home, same home, 12 years ago was $175,000.
How many years ago?
10.
Okay, so you basically 10 times. Really, that's
10 times earnings. Put that in a broker account.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
it's pretty nice. Subdivision like what we're seeing off to our right here. This entire parcel 10 years ago sold for 300,000 Canadian. It's about 2 city blocks square. The average lot sells on this development for about 475,000, and then you got to build your $2 million home on it.
Right.
But the view's self-explanatory. Columbia River, right in the middle of the Columbia Basin. Ski mecca of the world.
And of course, we woke up to, the sky normally today would be blue, but it's kind of a hazy kind of gray. And that's due to the ash from all the forest fires that are in the area.
Yeah.
And not just around the area here, but especially from the central part of British Columbia, around the Kamloops area, north of Kamloops. Kamloops is about, about a 2.5 hour drive from here, I would say.
Yeah.
That's further west.
And
But you can see see the sun kind of peeking through the clouds there. So the higher up it gets, it'll be a little bit clearer. But when I woke up this morning, there was a lot of ash on my car. And Ken has a really nice power boat and with a black cover, and it was really evident. It was like the car cover had dandruff. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
So Ken, what's your first impressions on? I'm gonna actually put it on. Here we go.
Not being over familiar with all electric product, this is the first time in this product. It's very interesting to say the least. Responsive. They are amazing.
Here, try pumping the accelerator for 2 seconds there.
Yeah, I just get by the airport here.
Yeah.
I want to watch the cops here.
I got a radar detector.
Oh, perfect. I'll just get by this little spot here. People will turn you in a hurry. This is where I do all my demos with Ford down here.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's right. Where's your Ford dealerships in downtown, right?
Yeah. If I knew you were coming here, I'd have brought a mock home.
Oh, wow. That would have been. I would have loved to seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're. I mean, whatever you can make, they're sold. I'm sure.
I have 4. I just sold 2 this weekend.
You did.
Yeah.
And what do they sell for?
Premiums, about just under 72,000.
Is that with the all-wheel drive?
All-wheel drive, 88 kW. So the big battery.
Right.
They figured that battery, the cost of that battery alone, $7,000. So the difference between a premium and a select in the Mustang is virtually same identical car, battery packs, 66 versus 88, charging times, distance, and the power that you want out of them. What are you going to get with it?
Right.
The 88's equivalent to about 345 horse if you were to do the conversion. And most impressive, I think, is operating costs at about $600 a year with that battery pack in equivalents. So it's pretty impressive for a first attempt from a big manufacturer. They disclaimed they set a world record. They said 2 charges, quick charges, 40 minutes to 80% capacity, but I've since learned that that's 2 plus 1 because clearly the vehicle has to have its first charge. So
exactly,
things are improving.
Yeah, and I think it's great that other legacy automakers are getting into the game. I know. Whoa.
You can't beat that feeling.
I know, it's great.
It's a very refined feeling in this car. Stance,
Yeah, go ahead.
electric steering, positivity. I want to try the torque thing again. Although torque isn't the word we should be using in electrics, I don't think, is it?
Yeah, you mean for the torque for acceleration?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
still
oh, yeah.
torque in
It's
this
got.
world.
This has 5. We're not even in the sport mode.
No,
The sport mode accesses a bit more of the battery. Actually, yeah,
a lot.
A lot, yeah. So if you with the sport mode engaged, I'll put the sport mode on.
Yeah.
There you go. You'll really feel the difference of the responsiveness when you hit the accelerator. You'll notice a bit more responsiveness.
So that puts us into boost.
Yeah. So that with boost mode, it'll go 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.6 seconds.
5.6.
Yeah.
So that's maybe a second quicker than a Mach.
Okay. And then the other thing, it has 500 foot-pounds of torque.
Definitely more than a Mach. We are at 345, so I think that would be maybe 4 1/4. Yeah, the difference is definitely amazing. Okay, let's try out some boost here in sport mode on this
Okay,
tangent.
I'm going to put the camera on my little holder here.
Okay.
That way I don't have to hold it.
Oh, that's cool. That's actually very smart. Wow.
Overspeed.
Yeah, my radar detector tells I set it for 15 kilometers over the speed limit. So if I go over, it tells me that I'm over.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? Who could not want this?
I know. That's the thing that I was saying to everybody that I talk about electric cars. I said, yeah, you feel good about being in a sustainable car, being green. You feel good about not paying nowhere near as much in fuel cost, like half. And in the case of an Audi, you get 2 years free charging at the Electrify Canada stations.
Wow.
And right now, Petro-Canada, if you have a Petro-Canada card right now, like those PetroPoint cards,
Yeah.
and you link it to the preferred credit card that they use, which is RBC, and you go to a charging station, you get free charging until April 2022. Anyway, so yeah, fuel expense is way lower, and then maintenance costs. I mean, there's no real maintenance costs. I mean, all these systems that a regular internal combustion engine or ICE vehicle has, like engine oil, all your valves, and all that stuff in a regular combustion engine, you don't have. You have 2 moving parts in a motor, an electric motor, and that's it. And then you've got your battery, and there's no radiator, there's no exhaust systems. All these different systems to support your regular ICE vehicle don't exist. So there's nothing very virtually to repair. I mean, you have to do updates. Software updates.
But that's over the air.
No.
No?
For Audi right now, they're still doing it at the dealership.
We're over the air, everything
Yeah,
now.
I think eventually Audi and Volkswagen will be doing it over the air. But right now, it's still a big, huge upgrade to get them to do that. But I'm sure they'll be catching up with that as well. I'm going to be getting an upgrade on this car that's going to increase my range. It's going to give me the same range as a 2021. This is a 2019.
Huh. I think over time they'll be able to tweak this stuff, and it's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
Anyway, I just want to continue this thought. Take away all these great benefits. The green, the fuel, the maintenance costs, and then there's the drive. Take all that stuff away and just keep the drive, and you're going to be having a huge smile on your face. And a lot of people that I talk to, they're real believers in their traditional diesel and gas engine, vehicles, but they've never driven one. So when they drive it, then they'll realize, what they're missing.
That's just it. And once we get set up at the store a little bit better with our inventory, we're undergoing a major renovation, doubling the lot size, redoing the whole building. What's going to happen then is we'll be able to have the opportunity to put these them, feel them, play with them, because until you get to experience this, you've just read about it, and reading about it is not even, it's a minuscule part of the equation. It's just like anything. You have to experience them.
And a lot of people are afraid to buy an electric vehicle. You know, they're nervous about it. And the reason why is because they're just not familiar with it.
Yeah.
You know, when you first learn how to charge, it's like getting a new smartphone. You know, it takes time to get accustomed to it.
It's the most wonderful lady right here. She's got a little garden. This is what she sells. Sometimes I just come down here after supper.
Oh yeah, zucchini, peas, raspberries. Yeah.
Now, how about in reverse? Does it have any chimes or any noises?
Oh, well, there is. Can you hear the hum?
You do, yeah.
Okay, that hum disappears after 30 kilometers.
30?
Yeah, and it's there to warn pedestrians because at slow speeds, you don't, you know.
We really have to train ourselves to listen for these now.
Yeah.
So ours hum at a slow speed too, and I've noticed that, but I didn't notice over higher speed.
Well, you don't need it over higher speeds because people will hear the noise of through the air and the noise of the tires on the road.
And I see you have whistles. Is that standard, or did you?
Oh, those are deer whistles.
Deer whistles.
Yeah,
very
I put
smart.
those in. I added those because I'm driving through remote areas. And
well, and I think it's a brilliant idea actually too, because of these things are silent. They are very silent. There you go.
Well, I'm just worried about hitting a deer or a moose or whatever, you know.
You'd almost drive under a moose with this baby.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it depends on the size of the moose, I guess. But
They're no little ones.
Yeah.
I got a bull and a cow calf tag this fall.
Here we go.
Wow, very positive.
And I can adjust the zoom on it. There we go. And what's great is I can just move the mirror around to get the angle I want.
I'd be doing that in the city on half my drives anyway.
But when you back up, the noise has a higher pitch.
Right.
So you can, people, and you know the funny thing is that I'm seeing more and more, not just electric cars, but more of the e-trons. And sometimes I'm not looking anywhere specific, and I hear the hum of my car, and it's somebody else's car, and it's an e-tron, and it's very recognizable. We
are going to, because of the technology, well, not being new, but newer, and in smaller areas, less prevalent, obviously. Some of the first e-vehicles that I sold and hybrids are so quiet, actually, that drivers initially was a huge learning curve with pedestrians, especially in the winter around town, because it's even quieter. So guys downtown on the snow,
right?
They don't even hear the gravel on the tires,
right?
And I've had some customers not complain, but go, well, there's something new to look after or watch out for, because people are not going to hear these the same way until you actually hear that sound.
Yeah.
And then when you do hear it, it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
You know that sound. Oh, there's an EV somewhere.
Right.
Very
but right now,
impressive.
the Teslas don't have any external noise right now. But they have to be, it's mandated now. I think after a certain, I'm not sure when it has to be put in, but they have to start doing it.
Well, humans have become kind of stupid. I suppose we always have been to an extent. Now that they have to put warnings moving forward in North American platform to tell you to look in the back seat for your occupants before you close your door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mandated.
It's crazy.
Somebody left their kids in Texas and they died.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, where they forget they have the kid in the car. And
And now it tells you to check for occupants.
Yeah. And one thing nice about this car, there's so many ways you can personalize the car to your taste. So I'll go through that with you in a little bit later, but it has air suspension. So with the air suspension, you have about 6 different heights that you can choose. You have the off-road right down to like dynamic, where it's really low, and very aerodynamic when you have it as low as possible. That's part of the efficiency mode. They have different modes of the way you can
terrain modes.
Well, you can make it so that it's a very cushy ride, or you can make it with a very sporty dynamic ride. And you can stiffen up the suspension, or you can make it again more comfortable, depending on your taste and what you're doing that day for riding.
Yeah.
The steering as well. You can adjust the steering
stiffness.
Yeah, like you can make it super precise, or you can give it with a little bit of play and in the middle.
There's some roads this car would be a blast on.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
I knew
And
that bump was
you'll
there.
notice too that it's quiet.
Very quiet.
Yeah. How does it compare to the quietness of like the Mustang? Is it as quiet as this one?
Yeah, definitely. No wind noise, nothing. It's just dead silence. And the audio in them is just amazing too. But they're targeting a different group, right?
Yeah.
Volvo's targeting a certain group. Audi's targeting a certain group. They all are. So Mach, although I don't know who really they're aiming their stuff at, because, well, the demographic is young. That's who's purchasing this stuff. I got a kid come in the store the other day and bought a premium. I'm delivering to, well, it'll arrive here today. I'll deliver it this afternoon. They're on it. The young people are on this stuff.
Well, they see the future, I think, rather than being stuck in the past.
They're willing to make the change, and they're sacrificing, and how they're going to sacrifice to make that change is by paying more for the product than they will down the road. But somebody has to. The more popular they become, in a Mach, no margins. There's zero profit margins at the retail level.
Really?
Virtually nothing.
How does, because you're a dealer, what's your role at the dealership?
Our goal?
No, your role.
Oh, my role, I'm in sales.
You're in sales,
Yeah.
okay. I know that some of people in dealerships are nervous about pushing EVs too much because of the lack of maintenance that's required. So a lot of the dealerships are, dependent on the service that they offer.
Yes.
And with electric vehicles, a lot of that service that they would normally do, like just a regular oil change, standard maintenance, is not necessary.
The automotive industry as a whole, as you see it today, once EV starts to take over, is going to be major revamp. It's a total fail the way it is today. In EV, with no margins for, say, in a GT level, because the cost is so high to produce these things, they have to keep it down. So they'll get them out there. Eventually, that will change.
Yeah.
There'll be money to be made. But as of now, and the garage model, the way it is set up today, is a total fail. There's no need for it. Absolutely none. The more you hang around it and you look at it, the work that's going there every day versus this, it's gonna change.
Yeah.
It's gonna change drastically.
Well, in 20 years, you won't need a muffler shop.
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Well, there'll still be, ICE vehicles on the market up until the year 2035 for most cases. But there'll still people be buying, used ones, and then the ICE cars will become collector's items, and people will be paying a lot of money for them. Usually when there's something more scarce, the price goes up.
Price goes up. Yeah.
So there'll be a market for it, but it'll be a different type of market.
And people are questioning it already. Kenny, what should I do? Should I get another combustion, or should I just go EV?
Oh yeah. So what kind of tell me about some of those conversations. That's interesting from your point of view.
Yeah, very interesting. So a lot of people, because of our area, smaller services, all the rest of it, I don't think society's catching on fast. It's an easy transition for people to get into. You have the range, a hybrid pickup, F-150, well in excess of 1,000 kilometers a tank on 93 liters.
Right. Yeah, so range is that's
Range
a benefit
is
for sure.
way up, huge, tremendously up. Operating costs are down. In a community like ours in Revelstoke, 5.5. The EPA is showing about 9 per 100. Customers are cutting that in half. And the other challenge with hybrid that customers are bringing back, or EV, is they're challenging their own driving habits with regenerative braking and their memories, short-term and long-term memories that the car gives them at the end of their trip. They're continually trying to beat that number.
I know, I'm doing the same. It's like a game.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It becomes a game.
That's right. I've got all statistics. I've got a charging log which shows every single charge I've done.
Right.
The date, where I charge, the type of charger, whether it's level 2, level 3.
Correct.
How far I got in that charge, what my charge percentage of my battery was at the start, at the finish, how far it took me, what my effective range was, what type of conditions
Yep.
I was driving in, whether it's city, highway, or combination.
Yep.
What was the weather like? Was it freezing? What was my elevation changes? All that is on my website, marianneselectricdrive.com, and you just go to the charging log, and it's right there. You can download the Excel file, which shows it all.
Does this car have one pedal?
Yes, it does.
It does.
But I don't like it.
You don't, eh?
No, I like using my. You don't see this, but there's these little paddles here.
Tap. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. So when you tap the one on the left, it'll regenerate braking, and when you hit it the second time, it goes a little bit more. So we can try it. So just go and then coast, and then hit the button. Feel it low, and then hit it again. See that? And then to release it, you do it on the other side.
On the right side.
You see that?
Yeah.
I feel like I have more control personally. You can set it in here to do it as one pedal driving, but I don't like it. I like the coasting, and I find I'm more efficient that way. When I have more control, I feel I don't. And when regenerated braking with one pedal driving, you have to always have your foot on the accelerator to keep it at the speed that you want to go. Mm-hmm. And I just find taking my foot right off the accelerator when I'm going down a hill and I want that extra speed, it's just better. I just like it. And for me, using these regenerative paddles is second nature to me. Like, I don't even think about it.
You don't even think about it.
Don't even think about it. It just happens. So for me, it's like I was always a manual transmission kind of guy.
Yeah.
Using my 4-speed or 5-speed on the floor. I always wanted manual transmissions. And this kind of gives me that feel of at least downshifting, right? And
yes.
So for me, I love that.
I love the feel downshift. You feel more in control of the vehicle.
Totally.
You're more at one with it.
Yeah.
When you're in a nice road and you just got it going, and totally at one with it.
Yeah.
And tap is smart, because look at where it puts your hands. It forces you to keep your hands on the wheel.
How does the feel of the steering wheel?
It's nice. I like a fat steering wheel. I like the way it is. At this trim level, though, with the way things are going, I thought they might have had a more flat bottom here.
They have one. There's a more. They have a choice that you can get that steering wheel too. But I like that steering wheel.
Yeah, beautiful. Nice turning radiuses.
Oh, it's really tight.
Really tight.
Really tight.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something else, eh?
Well, Ken, thank you very much for your test driving it out. And what's your overall thought?
It's impressive, I have to say. I gotta say, one pedal driving is kind of interesting. I thought this would have had a little bit more hold back in one pedal.
Well, you mean the regenerator?
Yeah.
I agree, and I've mentioned that to them, that it needs to be stronger.
It needs to be stronger.
Yeah, and they are. I think the new ones are stronger.
Yeah, I noticed the Mach. If I was to pull up behind a vehicle like this in that situation with adaptive cruise control on, it comes to controlled stop, just as fast as if you were braking nicely controlled.
On adaptive cruise control, it does that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, if the guy in front of you stops suddenly,
it's on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's.
And what's
amazing.
nice about the adaptive cruise control, it gives you the best efficiency for regen braking, acceleration. It does it as smooth as possible, it helps me with my range. It definitely improves my range when I'm on adaptive cruise control.
Yeah, the guys in town here on the 150 hybrids, 5.5.
Oh, seconds per...
On a full-size pickup, 5.5 liters 100.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
What? 5.5 liters per...
5.5. Bob Melnick in town here. I've been...
of gas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's hybrid, so yeah. Regenerative braking and all, and he's doing the same stuff too, eh?
Yeah.
I've sold a lot of hybrid Escapes. People are doing all their work in town, all their daily activities on pure electricity. So next time... they were kind of worried about going full EV at first, so we started them hybrid. Those customers will go full EV next time, guaranteed.
That's right. And when that conversation comes up to me, like when I play a lot of golf, and I actually do a kind of a informal survey, and I ask my golf buddies, first of all, that I'm an electric vehicle advocate, and I want to. You let me know what scenario you fit into, and I'll say the first scenario is I love I say, what's the next vehicle, that when you're ready to buy the next vehicle, is it going to be, your traditional ICE vehicle? Or that's scenario number one. Number two is, I'm thinking about an electric vehicle, but I'm not quite sure. I'm still thinking about it. And the third scenario is, I just know what the future is, and I've done my research, and my next vehicle is going to be electric. And I would say that 75% are in either 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say about 40% are, in that, my next vehicle is electric, and that number is getting bigger. And about 20%, 25% are still, they're totally still into the traditional. And you know what? One of them, it's not like they don't think the electric vehicles are good. They're nervous about the infrastructure of charging, especially if they're in a condo building where it's not easy to get the charging done. But that's going to change too.
That'll have to start in the building code. It should be in the building code already.
Well, in new condos in Vancouver anyway, it's mandatory in a new condo building.
To set them right up right away.
But they're only setting it up in a limited way. Eventually, every stall is going to have availability for charging, and the BC government has commissioned BC Hydro and Fortis BC to put together subsidy grants for Stratas to put in full infrastructure for every parking stall.
Municipalities are going to have to get on board too with housing. It should be in the code that today or shortly, they write codes all the time. I study the building code. Go figure. How stupid is that? It needs to be in our infrastructure, in housing and our subdivisions.
Yeah.
I don't think the way they're doing it now, we have the capacity. If everybody had 1 or 2 or 3 EVs in some, you're going to have here in this area, you have to have at least 2 cars.
Yes.
So if they're both electric, I don't think we have the capacity to handle every household just on one.
Right.
And now we get multiples.
Yeah.
That's going to be problematic.
Well, and there's solutions to that as well. And one of the solutions is solar power, even in an area like this. Like on a day like today, even if it's a little bit of smoke in the air, every roof should have solar panels. Yeah. And that
Craig Madeline just down there, he's got solar.
Anyway, the cost of solar panels now versus, let's say, 5 or 10 years ago are much cheaper. And I know that Penfolds in Vancouver is putting together, competitive programs where after 5 years it's paid for. And your EV can easily be, plus your whole house can be charged, from all your own solar panels.
Back to the grid.
And back to the grid as well. And of course, in areas where, like in Kamloops, where there's more sun, or in areas where BC where there is more sun, of course, it really makes sense. And of course, in places in the United States where it's sunny 90% of the time, it totally makes sense. And it's happening more and more and more. And of course, there's solar farms that are coming up, and I found it's better for the environment, let's say, than wind farms. I think there's a lot of issues with wind farms, and of course that's where the battery technology comes into place, and other storage solutions to store the energy when the sun is not shining. So when people may have a rainy day or at night with the solar panels, during the day, you're at work, you're not really using the electricity that it's being gained. You have to use a storage battery, and that's where Tesla also has those battery storage walls, as well. Plus other companies will be getting into that as well. But Tesla right now is definitely the leader in those battery storage home solutions, and
definitely,
and also in major solar farms as well. They're creating the battery solutions for that as well.
Yeah, they've come a long way for sure.
Okay, any other thoughts?
Stuff. I don't know. It's pretty impressive, really. It's intriguing. It's exciting, actually.
It really is. It's an exciting time to be part of the auto industry, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to really keep enjoying the work that you're doing, and it's great having something new and exciting to offer your customers.
Oh, and they're eating it up.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
They're starting to eat it up. Not like the big cities. There's more people inquiring in that sense, but the neighbor does it, the next guy's going to catch on, and then people are starting to come around. Okay, what's that all about anyway? I'm getting a lot of it now.
Yeah.
So you just sell one, and then it takes off.
And you're in a rural area where, when I did my trip 2 years ago, I mean, like I was like the only EV on the road pretty much. I was up from driving from Prince Rupert all the way to Jasper. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw one other EV at a charging station in Burns Lake.
Yeah.
And he had a Bolt, I think.
I
But
don't
anyway,
like those.
It's totally changing, and it's going to be changing quickly. And I think the turning point is going to be in 2028, where the cost of EVs versus a regular ICE vehicle is going to be either the same, and that doesn't include any of the benefits like low maintenance and costs and fuel costs, just the cost of the vehicle itself.
If I factor just purely from a financial perspective, it's expensive right now. There's no doubt about it. And it takes a while. If it's your plan to buy a car like this and keep it for 5 years, for most people, I think that would be a fail. I think if you kept it for a longer period of time, I think people are going to really realize the benefit.
Yeah, because there's really not much maintenance to wear out.
Nothing.
I mean, so an electric vehicle will last a lot longer as far as the vehicle is concerned than a nice vehicle. There's really nothing to wear out because there's no systems that are there to wear out.
No, it's all electronic, everything.
Yeah, and the other thing is that the battery technology is so good now that your battery will outlast your car.
Guaranteed. Yep.
And I know, I mean, you probably have this in the Fords as well, but the battery with you when you're doing the recycling of the charging recycles, all the cycling, when you have your iPhone or your any other electronic device, most people discharge. Oh, my battery died. My battery died, so I have to charge it up. So it goes to full and then back down to zero, full, zero, full, zero. That's really hard in a battery.
Worst thing ever.
So on the Audis and other vehicles, but especially the Audi, they've buffered the top end and the low end of the battery, so you cannot use it. Even if you were out of battery power, they won't let you use it.
So it'll only draw down so far, and that's it.
Even though it's a 95 kilowatt battery, which is a really big battery,
That's huge.
They're only using really 84 kilowatts of it.
Where is the battery in this car? Where is
It's
it
under
centered?
it's right in the
sitting on
center.
us?
Yeah,
Dead
it's the whole-
center.
Well, it's from, I guess, where your feet are
Yeah.
to the back seat where your back is, in the bottom.
Between the wheel wells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It must be flat floor underneath.
Oh
too,
yeah,
totally.
no, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely flat.
Yeah, but underneath it, there's nothing there. You wouldn't see anything. It must be just one pan, virtually.
Actually, if you go on the Audi website, you can see it.
I'll have a
It
look
has
at
an
that.
exploded view.
Yeah. I like looking at the structure of them. Solid state's going to change the future. Seems like a word that we know from our past, solid state, but
Well, solid state, like your transistor radios, were all
Yeah.
solid state, right?
yeah.
So
And now this battery technology there, and you're absolutely correct. That battery pack, and it's possible some of these will outlast the car. I can see a day when you go to an auto manufacturer and maybe you trade the car in and you could choose to keep your battery.
that
You're
could
actually
be.
purchasing the battery.
Well, as long as the battery is the size that fits the car that you're buying, and
Yeah.
that if you're buying the same brand of vehicle and it's the same platform, like for example with the Porsche, right? With the Taycan and the e-tron GT, that's on the same electronic platform. So I'm not sure, but I would assume
I think so,
that
yeah.
the battery would be interchangeable.
Yeah.
And the same with the Audi, the new Q4 e-tron that's coming out, which is smaller than this one, kind of like a Q5. The Q5 is the most popular Audi vehicle on the market
That's what
in North
Randy wants.
America. Yeah, my wife had that car. Anyway, the Q4 e-tron is pretty much the same size inside and a little smaller outside.
Wow.
And the range is better than this car. It's got all the tech. It's very similar platform, or the same platform as the Volkswagen ID4, but of course it has the luxury and the features that you would expect in an Audi. And those two battery packs are probably the same.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in for some big changes. Wow, it's exciting. It's a neat future.
Anyway, thank you very much for your time and
Yeah, no,
and checking out the car.
I'm always interested in this stuff.
Okay, we're gonna say goodbye.
Bye.